Hi, this is Michelle Polly, and these are my observations of effective unit planning. Though I have seen many great videos of inspirational teaching, this is my reflection on observations I have made at the middle school that I plan on teaching at. I have observed classes in different subject areas, though I plan on teaching math. I did my reflection on these classes because they will be most likely how I'm going to teach in the future, so they're most pertinent to me. I'm pleased to say that all the classes I have observed have been carefully planned. The school obviously has an overall strategy to follow the standards that are published by the Hawaii Department of Education, called the Hawaii Content and Performance Standards. This is the website. These standards map out a logical progression for math and the other subject areas as well. The math department doesn't follow the order exactly, but modifies it to follow what they have found through experience to be the most logical order. In the classrooms, I have observed many consistencies, and following are some of those that I think are successful. The first one, all classes have the daily objectives clearly posted either in their presentation or on the whiteboard. This is for every class. And students write these objectives along with their homework in their planner for every class. And since the school follows the AVID philosophy of teaching skills and behaviors for academic success, all the students are required to have a planner and write their daily objectives and homework in their planner. And this takes careful planning by the teachers because they have to plan in advance what their objectives are going to be for their whole unit and what their homework is going to be for their whole unit. So they already have it mapped out, and each day the student writes just the one day's lesson in their plan. At the start of a unit, pretty much all of the teachers unpack their learning objectives, not only for themselves but for the students too. In English, I observed the teacher introducing the fiction that was going to be read, the style of the paper that would be required, and she explained why the standards were taught and what the students would be doing and the skills that they would need. She also had the students create a bubble map using the rubric and had them mark any terms or ideas that they were unsure of the meaning. And then she went back to this bubble map. I was able to observe this class multiple times through this unit, and she referred back to the bubble map throughout the unit and had students make changes if they start to understand everything that was required. When the teachers unpack the standard, it leads to deeper learning, and the students are more likely to be successful and have a deeper understanding of the concepts being taught. The teachers definitely had their assessments planned out for the entire unit, starting with the more simpler formative quizzes and other types of assessments and ending with a unit exam at the end. So some of the formative assessments that were given were in the form of homework quizzes, exit tickets, and even one of the teachers just asked the students at the end of the class if they would show by thumbs up, thumbs sideways, or thumbs down if they felt they had a good understanding of the objectives presented that day. I thought this was a good strategy to make sure their lessons were effective and that the entire class was ready to go on to the next level. And I also thought it was good that they did formative assessments every day. There was some kind of formative assessment, or even more than one, every single class period. I was surprised to see, even in math classes, teachers tried to start their lessons with something that grabbed their students' interest and attention. And if the teacher can personalize the topic in the beginning of the individual lesson, then students are more motivated and engaged. For some, it was a dramatic demonstration. Like one teacher demonstrated how one of her classmates in high school, when she was in high school, entered the classroom on test day. This was a day they were taking a test. So she went out of the classroom and came in singing, and it was, definitely made an impression on the students and enforced that they be serious on their test. And this same teacher started one class just by presenting the word of the day that was their topic, which was proportion, and had the students start with a think, pair, share on what they thought it meant. So before she even began to teach the concept, she had them just think about it silently for a minute and then talk about it with their shoulder partner, and then they shared out in class. And they just could give any idea of what they thought that the word meant, even though they hadn't been taught how to calculate or what even a proportion was. So for other classes, it was like a fun video, which usually showed the math objective being used in a real life situation. And some started off with like a fun game or a puzzle to what they called warm up before the harder concentrating on math began. So I thought these teachers were very effective in engaging their students from the time they entered, and I'm sure that they definitely had a lot of planning so that they would have these types of activities daily or for each lesson throughout their entire unit. Many, but not all, teachers try to involve other disciplines in their lessons whenever possible. The English and the Science department coordinated a project within their planning. In the English class, the students were learning about finding appropriate resources, which were good resources, which were bad resources, and appropriate ways to write factual papers. And then in the Science class, the students were doing the same project, but obviously putting together the scientific concepts part of the project. So it's important that the teachers planned and coordinated this project together, and students seemed to benefit from this project by learning how to combine their skills of researching, writing, and presenting a scientific topic. In another class, a math class, they did a grid enlargement, which was more of an art project in their proportions lesson. So this was this was the second proportions lesson that they did the grid enlargement. And I could see that this not only helped students understand proportion concept, but they also really enjoyed doing it. So it made it fun, made math fun. The last important planning that the teachers utilized was the school's use of the Google Classroom. And all the teachers put their assignments on there, which they definitely plan ahead. They know which assignments they're going to give students each day and for each unit from the beginning to the end, and they post all the assignments on the Google Classroom. And they also post their presentations so that students can go back and review them, or if they're absent, they can get missed work or review the missed lesson on the Google Classroom. They can do it at home or at school during their study hall periods. So, and this is something that the entire school uses, and in their planning as well as their executing of their lessons. So I think it's really effective when the entire school culture follows the same type of guidelines for planning their lessons and executing their lessons. Planning your unit is important because it ensures that 1, time is not wasted and teachers can keep organized and feel confident. 2, each day's activities are progressing students towards the goal of the standard. And 3, the students are challenged at their level, whatever that level is. By planning, teachers can consider their students' abilities, backgrounds, likes and dislikes, and design tiered lessons which will be most successful. If teachers know what outcome they want, they can plan backwards and break down the steps to get there. Planning a unit from the end, or the objective that you want them to get, back to the start. I think the hardest part for me is going to be the timing of how long each part takes, and I'll probably have to rely on my co-teachers for the timing to start off with, among other things. Thank you.